Strange times indeed. Yes, it is I, your host, Cliff McCallister, and welcome to Strange Times Indeed. No, this isn't just a show for crazies, and this isn't my real hair. That's right, we traffic in the truth here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my real hair. Now, we're starting off tonight with a great big old news story for you here at Strange Times Indeed. That's right. Buckle up your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for some breaking news. Breaking news coming out of the Antarctic. This is coming to us from NASA. NASA, they say they may have discovered cosmic rays that point to the existence of a parallel universe where our timeline runs backwards. While studying cosmic rays in the Antarctic, researchers came upon a fountain of rays coming up from the ice. These cosmic particles come in from space, but are too dense to penetrate the Earth. Now, this could be an interdimensional rift into our universe, where all things are it's an interdimensional rift to a universe where all things are backwards, where life begins with death and ends with a doctor shoving you screaming and crying back into your mother until you cease to exist. Of course, researchers in this universe are likely undiscovering a rift to our own, and I imagine they would be very pleased to be rid of us. In our cold, unfeeling universe, in which we are not wholly enveloped by our mothers at the end of our lives, picture, if you will, that by consuming a burger in this universe, in the other, you are spitting out chunks of beef, carefully packaging it and sending it to a factory where a full-grown cow is assembled. And then it's allowed to live out its life in peace and harmony, until, like all things, it is enveloped again by its mother. Yes, they must have thought we were a pretty disgusting species, the way we eat food and turn it into waste. Strange times indeed. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about a number of strange things, but the main topic on our minds, moving on from that breaking news out of the Antarctic, is why only Republicans get to meet extraterrestrials. Now, tonight we will be taking phone calls. You are allowed to call in. Not only are we discussing the potential parallel universe where time runs backwards that exists in the Antarctic, we'll also be discussing why only Republican presidents get to meet the president. And since this is our first episode, we're also having open lines. So anyone with a strange occurrence, some odd thing happening, you can request to join, and then you'll be a part. We'll bring you into the show. We'll talk to you about parallel universes, about extraterrestrials, about whatever weird thing you've encountered lately. So feel in to call in whenever you're ready to join. I want to talk to you tonight about why Republicans only seem to be the ones who get to meet the extraterrestrials. Now, this is a trend that started with Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, some of you might remember February 20th, 1954, the night Eisenhower died, or went to the dentist, or held a telepathic meeting with two Nordic extraterrestrials at Edwards Air Force Base. Now, that's right, this was an interesting night in Dwight Eisenhower's career as a human being. There he was, President of the United States, golfing, of all things, when he's called off the golf course, completely disappears. Yes, many do remember that night. He completely disappears for an entire night. Yes, a Nordic, well, we'll put a pin in that. Disappears for an entire night. They can't find him. No one's sure exactly where Dwight Eisenhower is. The Associated Press reports that he dies. 2 minutes later, they retract that report. Interesting development. Now, of course, this was before the internet, so nobody really knew they reported it that he had died. It usually took at least 5 minutes for people to get the news back then. Now, the next morning, Dwight Eisenhower shows up in Los Angeles, of all places, when he originally was in Florida. An interesting jump in space and time. Now, a medical dental historian will have you believe that Dwight D. Eisenhower spent that night at the dentist, getting a tooth pulled, an emergency tooth extraction. Well, if that's so true, how come he was reported dead by the Associated Press? And how come most people believe that he actually had a meeting with extraterrestrials? Now, these were Nordic extraterrestrials, from the way it's told. There are more humanoid extraterrestrials. They are said to be referred to as Nordic because they look like Scandinavian people. So, he has this meeting with them. They stand in Edwards Air Force Base, face to face, and communicate telepathically, talking to each other through only their minds. And what the aliens tell him? They say, we've got advanced technology, and we can talk via mind. Would you like some of that advanced technology? And they say, yeah, but probably like Thor. If you believe that Thor is a god or a space alien first, then a god, yes, you can think of it like that. Anyway, the aliens say to Dwight D. Eisenhower, they say, in their minds, we have nice new technology from the space-time future. Would you like to have some, sir? And Dwight D. Eisenhower looks them right in the eyes and thinks with his own mind, yes, that sounds very nice. And then the aliens hit him with this catch-22. They say, you have to get rid of all of your nuclear weapons, because it will disrupt the space-time continuum and alien races or something like that. And Dwight D. Eisenhower looked them square in their alien faces and said, no fucking way. In his mind, of course. That was the first Republican encounter with an extraterrestrial. The stories go on. Speaking of extraterrestrials, real mug from Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, home of the Kecksburg spacecraft crash. There's a big space going there. I got that smug from their volunteer fire department. Now, the next Republican president, and really the next president, to encounter an extraterrestrial is Richard Nixon. Now, Richard Nixon was good friends. I am drinking an Arnold Palmer tonight. Now, Richard Nixon was hanging out, again, much like Dwight D. Eisenhower, playing golf, but this time with famous honeymooners actor Jackie Gleason. Richard Nixon leans over to him, and he says, hey, you want to see something cool? And Jackie Gleason says, of course I do. And they go together as partners, as partners in crime. As we all know, Richard Nixon was a dirty criminal. He takes them to a different Air Force base, but also one in Florida, where it is reported that Jackie Gleason was shown 4 embalmed alien bodies. Now, these ones were not the Nordics that Dwight D. Eisenhower met, but actually these were said to be more like the Greys, often pictured to be the ones found at Area 51. Jackie Gleason goes home, tells his wife the whole thing. He starts breaking down. He's crying. Not only a Republican president, but probably a Republican actor, too. Now here's where things get messed up. How come only the Republicans get to meet the extraterrestrials? You see, the next president to have a presidential encounter with an extraterrestrial, or to attempt one, is our old friend Jimmy Carter. Now, Jimmy Carter requested access to find out about aliens, UFOs, anything the government had to offer, anything that they had already discovered. So, James Carter, President Jimmy Carter, asks, he says, I want to talk to the head of the CIA, and I want to find out, are there really aliens? The head of the CIA comes up, and he closes the door. And you know who the head of the CIA was the year that Jimmy Carter was president, and he asked this question? mostly Republicans in the CIA. Do you know who he was? Well, this isn't a quiz show. It was George Herbert Walker Bush. That's right. The same one who would become a Republican president and was probably a Republican at the time. And George Herbert Walker Bush, president, head of the CIA, looks at Jimmy Carter and he says, "There's no information that I'm allowed to give you." But like in the gross way that George H.W. Bush talked. That's right, H.W., the first one. Jimmy Carter asks politely to find out if there's any information about extraterrestrials, if there are any bodies that Richard Nixon might have just shown to his actor friends. And George H.W. Bush, head of the CIA and a Republican, tells him they don't exist. Tells him there's no evidence, there's nothing he's allowed to see. They have a 2-hour closed-door meeting, and when George H.W. Bush leaves the room, Jimmy Carter is in tears. So what'd he say? That's one of the questions I'm asking you tonight. Like I said, this is a call-in show. If you have a theory about why only Republicans get to interview extraterrestrials, get to meet extraterrestrials, pop up. We'll talk about it. There's also open lines tonight. Open lines. We will be interviewing anyone who calls in. If you've got a weird story, a weird occurrence that happened in your life, then you can call in. You can share that with us tonight. It's open line, so you can really talk about anything you want. But right now, in case people don't call in, we're talking about why only Republicans get to meet extraterrestrials. The phone lines are also open for anyone who might be concerned about tonight's breaking news. The breaking news that followed earlier that there is perhaps an interdimensional rift coming out of the Antarctic that leads to a world where time runs backwards instead of forwards. It's like the Benjamin Button story, but if everyone was Benjamin Button. So in their universe, it's not that weird, it's just a normal thing. You call by requesting to join. There should be a little button somewhere. There's a little button somewhere. Here we go. Are you asking to join? Oh, here we go. Yes. Here. Caller. First caller. We've got our first caller coming in. Here we go. All right, our first caller. You're on Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. What would you like to talk about tonight? We've got open lines and many other conversational topics.
I would like to talk about the squirrel I saw today.
All right. Tell me about this squirrel. This is a strange time indeed.
I was sitting by my window and I saw him.
Yes.
He jumped from the tree to my roof.
Okay.
This close to my head.
You say inside like it phased through the wall? That close to my head? No, he was outside. Okay.
And there was something wrong with his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They had no white.
No white?
No white in his eyes. Just dark little beads.
You mean like the children with black eyes, but
yes,
in a squirrel form?
Yes.
Oh, now this is very troubling. This is very concerning indeed. You know,
tell me, Dr. Cliff.
I'm not a licensed doctor. I must always, whenever I'm referred to a doctor, as a doctor, you must know that I am not I do not have any legal standing as a doctor.
Oh.
Medical advice, I must say that if you need medical advice of some sort, this is not malpractice. That's just the way it goes.
Tell me, Cliff,
All
why?
Right.
Why is his eyes like that?
Well, see, it's entirely possible that much like the black-eyed children, there are legion, and now there is a legion of dark squirrels. Now, it's very possible. The other night, I was sitting in my own office. And I looked out the window, and right outside my window is a lamp post, a whole light post. And standing there, blending in with the wood, is a squirrel, upside down, just clinging to it vertically. And it stayed there for 3 hours.
You know those squirrels? I saw it climb the building.
Yes.
Without any handlebars.
And it came right up. It came right up to the window, and it looked you in the eyes with its dark, black, beady eyes.
No lights. Now explain that.
So it's very possible that these, much like we've been discussing earlier tonight, these may also be interdimensional beings. These might be creatures from a darker realm than the one that we're used to. It's hard to say exactly which dimension. I wouldn't necessarily say they're from hell, but they're most likely from a very dark and very bad place.
One time, I saw another squirrel.
Okay.
And this is how it acted. Hold on.
Show me what this squirrel did so that I might study its movements.
And it would chase ya.
And it would chase you.
It chased you. It was on my school property. And it always looked crazy, and it had a big scab on its side.
Well,
that's true.
You see, this sounds, and I must say again, I must reiterate that I am not a real doctor, so any medical diagnoses that I may make are ones that don't hold much weight to them. But it does sound a lot to me like this is a squirrel that had some kind of rabies. It doesn't seem to be like an interdimensional being. It sounds like it was bit by a...
How can you say that, you fraud?
Oh, no. What do you mean, a fraud? What? Well, there we go. All right, well, I think it's time to go to commercial. Give me 1, 2, 3 seconds to get the ad copy. It's very important that everything I read in these ad copies is word for word. Otherwise, I won't get the money. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister is brought to you by Frank's Herbal Remedies. Frank is, well, let's just put it this way. You are dying, and Frank is alive and well. So why not take his medicine? This message is sponsoring tonight. Tonight it is the sponsor of Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Thank you for calling. Oh, we've got another person requesting to join right at the start of the episode. As you guys know, tonight we're talking about the parallel universe that's going through our timeline. We're talking about why only Republicans get to see extraterrestrials, and we're talking about anything you want. It's open lines, and here's our next caller. Here they come.
Hi, see me?
Yes, I see you.
I'd like to talk about your inaccurate theory that extraterrestrials only visit Republicans.
Right.
I'm a member of the Green Party.
Okay.
And the Green Party, some people say they won't get votes because of, I don't know, politics. I don't pay attention to that. That's garbage. Green Party means one thing to me. Extraterrestrials, green skin, big eyes.
All right.
And so, all right, maybe I haven't actually met any yet, but I my bone to pick here with you, sir, is that you are implying that only Republicans will ever meet extraterrestrials, and then it's like, what is my even aesthetic for if I have no promise of meeting extraterrestrials just because I'm not a Republican?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think my theory is that only the Republicans, and perhaps I have not worded it quite accurately, but I believe what we're talking about, or what I'm trying to get across, is that only Republicans seem to get to meet the extraterrestrials. They get the permission I'm not saying that it couldn't happen to somebody else, but I'm pointing out an alarming trend. I very much would like it to reach to other people. I would very much like for everyone to meet an extraterrestrial should the time come. I mean, why should
So
only
you're saying
have the fun?
there's a conspiracy out there right now trying to prevent me from meeting aliens?
Yes, and it's probably being run by the Republicans.
Is there a petition I can sign?
Yes, change.org.
A virtual protest, maybe?
Yes, yes. Oh, of course. Go to change.org and click create petition, and then share it. If you make sure that you got it right, say we need the Republicans to start sharing the truth about extraterrestrials. Share that with the hashtag STI, Strange Times Indeed.
And then they'll let me meet the aliens.
Yes, hopefully they'll let all of us, and you can put that in.
Well, I don't care about everybody else.
Okay, so say put in the petition. Say we need to. The Republicans are hiding the truth about extraterrestrials, and they need to share access to the extraterrestrials with us. Why can't I meet an extraterrestrial just because George H.W. Bush thinks
H.W.?
that... Yes, the older one who's no longer with us.
And how many X's are in the word access?
Access. I think 3. AXXIX.
Oh, that's it. All right, thank you. I'm going to go do that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, okay, we are back. We are back on. You're watching Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. That is me. Tonight we are talking about why only Republicans seem to get to meet extraterrestrials. Now, we heard about Dwight D. Eisenhower. We heard about Richard Nixon. We heard about President head of the CIA, George H.W. Bush, denying access to UFO information to Jimmy Carter. Now, the rest of the president's a little mum, a little not too interesting in the UFO front, but we did get a disclosure just this past year, just this past month, really, that there was footage of true unidentified flying objects that came out during the Trump administration. So that kind of counts as him getting a win. Now, if you go back, you rewind a little bit. You rewind a little bit to the Clinton administration. Bill Clinton also asked for information about Area 51 and UFOs. He said, any of that stuff, I want to know about it. And the FBI, the CIA, they said to him, you're not privileged to that information. So it seems that every Democrat who asks to see the aliens, who asks to have their chance to explore the greater realms, to know of these extraterrestrial species, any Democrat that asks for that privilege is consequently and subsequently denied. Meanwhile, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, Herbert Walker Bush, and Donald Trump all get wins in having seen aliens. Sorry, it's an offensive term. We refer to them as extraterrestrials on this show. All right, so that really covers the thing for president. So we are taking phone calls. It's open lines tonight. Anybody who has a strange or odd thing happening in their life, you can call in about that. You can call in to talk about the parallel universes, or you can call in to talk about Republicans. Yes, I know. It was a misstep on my part. An extraterrestrial. This is Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. Oh, we've got another caller. Just in time for the needle to drop. All right. Oh, no. We're still here. There we go. All right. We've got another caller. Coming.
Well, hi there.
Hey there.
Now, I just saw this and started tuning in, and I feel like I've...
This is Strange Times Indeed, and I'm Cliff McCallister. Who am I speaking to today?
I'm Biff.
Biff. Thank you for calling, Biff. How are you? How are you?
I prefer not to tell you my last name, Cliff.
All right, that's all right. Not all of us work in broadcasting.
All right. Well, you know what I've noticed?
Mm-hmm.
In the past couple of months or so, there's been a lot of extra frequencies going around. I feel like, yeah,
How do you mean frequencies? Do you mean like extra sound waves or
I feel like
Biff, are you there? Biff? Well, I think we lost the call. That's all right. Maybe Biff will call back if he wants to continue explaining the different frequencies he's found. Maybe the different frequencies suggest that he went through a tunnel. Oh, here we go. Here he is. All right. Biff, are you there? Biff, are you still there? Another glimpse in the frequencies. Perhaps he's getting pulled into a parallel timeline where time runs backwards and life runs forwards. Maybe he's hanging up on me and I'm calling him. Biff sounds like a bust. Hey, ain't that right, sister? Here we go. Oh, we've got him back? Oh, no. All right. Let's see if we can get Biff.
them aliens.
Biff? Yes, the extraterrestrials, as we like to call them on this program.
I can say aliens. They're trying to keep me from talking to you right now.
All right, well, everyone's entitled to their beliefs.
I'm just saying there's been a ton of extra frequencies, and it's been making my nipples tingle for months.
Okay. And your nipples, how much do they tingle?
I feel like they tingle more at nighttime, and also increasingly amount more. It's been 2 months now that there's been a ton of extra frequencies, and it makes my heart hurt. I swear, every time I try and use something like this, I feel like we're in 2 different time zones.
Yes, that tracks. Oh, and I think we lost Biff there. Well, yes, if you think the extraterrestrials are giving you some form of nipple chafing or something, he'll probably take his answer off the line. Oh, nope, Biff is back. Let's see if we can't get him on solid this time. Biff, are you there? Biff? We lost him. Maybe
This mask is keeping me from talking to you. I just got a hole in it.
Oh, yes. Well, if you're not in a public space, you can probably take your mask off to talk on the phone.
I'm only 1 foot away from you right now.
Oh, yes. That face right out the window. Impressive to be calling me while floating up on a 3rd-story building. That is strange. Time 15. Hang up on you if you're getting the chips on the line. All right. Okay. Put away from me the other side of my office building window. Well, it won't let me. There we go. I think he's off. Okay. All right. Well, I think we talked to Biff about as much as we could tonight. But here's the thing that you should know. If extraterrestrials are getting up on top of you and they're causing all kinds of trouble, they're giving you frequencies that are causing your nipples to irradiate and they feel all scratchy and itchy, you can just use Frank's Herbal Remedies medicine. Frank's Herbal Remedies. Frank is alive and you're slowly dying. So why not take his medicine? This is Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. Tonight, we are talking about the parallel universe that is slowly wreaking havoc on our Antarctic poles, as well as why only Republicans get to meet extraterrestrials, and also anything you want. It's open phone lines. There was a troubling report earlier in the night from a caller who was telling me just about these black-eyed squirrels that had taken residence in her area. Peering in from just outside the window, Similarly to Biff, who still looks at me through the window with those creepy, dark, black as night eyes. I don't know if Biff will ever call back, and if he doesn't, well, I really wouldn't mind. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. You can talk about anything you want tonight. It is open lines. Here's a fun story for you all to see if we can talk about anything we want. Now tonight, we've got Mysteries of the Unexplained. This is a book that I came to have in my possession. Now, I got it from another space in time, and I had this, I found it when we bought it. There was this note in it, a get well soon card, marking a place on that. If you want to call into the show, you've got a request to call through the live feed. If you call in through my actual phone, it will not work with the medium. Anyway, when I got this book, there was a note in it, a get well soon card. And what page of the book should it be turned to? The case for spontaneous combustion. Strange times indeed. We are having open lines tonight. You can call in and talk about anything you want. We can talk about extraterrestrials. We can talk about Bigfoot. We can talk about any strange experience you might have had tonight on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. You can call in anytime. If you would like to talk about strange things, extraterrestrials, Republicans only meeting the extraterrestrials, or the parallel universe slowly digging into our own. As I look out my window, there is a strange man, a man whose name is Biff. Biff called in earlier tonight, and he said to me, I have so many questions about you, and so many questions I want to know, but it's hard for me to speak while I'm wearing my mask. And I said, well, if you're not close to anybody, you can go ahead and take your mask off. And then he says, I'm 1 foot away from you. And I look over to my left, and right outside my office window, sure enough, on the 3rd floor, is Biff, floating there, not standing on a ledge, just floating, eyes dark as night. If you want to call in like Biff, you can request to join Strange Times Indeed and talk to me tonight, or I can keep vamping for 25 minutes. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. All right, let's read from the ancient texts. Mysteries of the Unexplained. Open lines tonight. You can call, talk about anything you want. But let's get a number in the comments. If you can give me any page number, and we'll find something interesting. Put one number in the comments. I see we've raised $10 for the Maryland Ensemble Theater tonight. The Maryland Ensemble Theater is doing some great cryptid research. The Bettys, the Yetis, extraterrestrial, planet flares, all things Strange Times Indeed needs and support in our journey through this world. Now, if you would like to hear something from any page, pick a page number, just type it in the comments, and we'll keep this thing going. Am I still getting? Oh, wow, wait. my thing stopped scrolling. My thing stopped scrolling, and then I had to. All right, I see 99. We might have a call coming in. He might have to recall. I thought I selected it. I thought I asked him to join, but it might have canceled. So you'll have to ask me again while I find page 99. Oh, this is in the same area of the book. Oh, here we go. Oh. All right, hold on. Here we go. Got it. So we've got some new.
Well.
Got some new interns tonight running the technology, so it doesn't always work as you would like to. Well, thank you for calling into Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. Who are you, sir?
I'm Please Cullen.
Please, Cullen. Well, thank you, please. What would you like to talk about tonight?
I just watched this movie called Chronicle.
Okay, tell me about Chronicle.
Well, basically, it is 3 teens in a classic teen film, and then they get superpowers, and then one has to deal with his toxic masculinity. And I don't want to have any spoilers in there because it's a good film and people should watch.
So it's like they're Avengers, but they're also moody teens.
Right.
And one of them is a misogynist who hates women.
Well, not really. He mainly just hates everyone, including himself,
Oh,
and he causes destruction for the fine city of Seattle.
That is a bad line to be in. Now, Cullen, tell me, tell me, do you think that extraterrestrials may be willing to endow regular human beings with these kind of superpowers?
You've come to the right person. I am currently reading a trilogy by Octavia Butler.
Okay.
Called Lilith's Brood, in which interesting questions are raised about this exact thing.
And what have you?
And I think that the answer is yes. I think that they already have bonded with us, and that they will bond with us further.
All right. Well, that is concerning. So what ways do you think we've bonded with the extraterrestrials?
That's a great question. I wouldn't know. I don't think they've done it to me yet.
Okay. So it's a slow process.
Yeah. It's like that Casey Musgrave song, Slow Burn.
Yes. Slow burning.
Slow burning.
Well, Cullen, anything else you'd like to talk about tonight on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister?
No, I mean, those are my latest thoughts.
Did you hear the breaking news that came in this morning about the parallel universe that might be rifting through the Antarctic?
I did not.
Well, let me tell you.
What's happening with it?
Let me tell you about that, because we've got some more people who are viewing than we did before, so it's probably important that they also hear the breaking news. Now, it came out right earlier today that NASA scientists have discovered cosmic rays that are coming out of the Earth. Now, usually cosmic rays only go into the Earth because that's the way they come out. If
Cosmic. Yeah.
Well, these rays, they can't go. Is there a fountain of being out that is causing a rift into another dimension? So when you die, that's when you're born, and then when you're born, that's your death.
I got that.
Come out of the horrible and your life just gets better. You're not dying anymore. Your life improves, and as you keep backwards, you get a little bit smaller, and then, because this is normal in this world for everyone, you go to see a doctor. You're very small at this point, with a woman you met partway through your life who says she's your mother. She takes off her clothes, and they put you into her, screaming and crying, and then you just pop and cease to exist. That's your life. It ends with you being enveloped by your mother so beautifully. So the normal death process.
Yeah. Where does where does it fall on the Benjamin Button scale?
Well, you start old and you end like a baby.
Well, yeah, like.
But it doesn't feel like Benjamin Button because in that world, that's how everybody lives. It's just a normal life. So they found a rift into this universe in the Antarctic.
Wow. I thought that was just the hole in the old ozone layer thing. No, that's different.
Cosmic rays coming out of the ground, and they think that they're coming out of the ground doesn't mean it means that the cosmic rays from space are moving backwards.
Yeah, it seems like they could have just called it cosmic rays, RAISE kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And yes, to answer the question in the chat, you would start life in the grave. You would start as less and less and become more. And
so you get...
Worms would spit you out. Worms would spit you out and build you. And to live their life. After they built a person together underground. And that person comes to life and lives this incredible life. And then gets shoved right back into its mother. That's life over there.
Yeah, so you have a finite number of years then. Very clear, huh?
Yeah, but see, here's the other one. As Trevor asks in the chat, he says that you start life in the grave, or perhaps you start life on fire. And yes, usually if you end your life on fire, you kind of end in a bunch of different particles. It's very bad to think about. But in this world, these particles come together out of fire to form you. You begin your life as a phoenix. Everything in this world is better than ours. Anyway, my name is Cliff McCallister, and you're watching Strange Times Indeed.
That's definitely a strange time if that's the case. I don't know what to make of that. So I don't have that much time left, is what you're telling me.
You might have a lot of time. Why would you not have much time left?
Because I'm going backwards. I'm going towards the womb.
Oh, are you calling from this other dimension? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, interesting.
Is this our first dimensional caller?
Yes, I finally made it through the portal. You got me.
Well, how's life doing everything backwards?
Very confusing. But like I know what's gonna happen.
Oh, that's true because you've already lived through it.
Yeah,
I
know
know everything about where your life will go in the next like 30 years, if I knew you as a person. But I don't. I'm Alistair from Strange Times Indeed.
Wow. Yeah. Is that what's been on your mind most recently? Is that your number one concern for the other dimensions, or?
Well, that's the news as of yesterday, and it's a very big thing. An interdimensional rift out of the Antarctic. This is a real news story. I read it on Thrillist.com first, and then I read it on other places that were debatably more refuted. This conversation must be difficult. I don't know what that means. Oh, well, yes, because I'm talking forwards, and he is talking backwards.
True. I one time heard that there was a rift in the suburbs of Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Oh, really? A rift there? An interdimensional rift in Minneapolis?
Actually, I really did hear it, that there's a rift in the Shenandoah Valley. An old woman named Gail told me that there was a rift right at her house.
You know, I would believe that, an old woman from Gale in Shenandoah County. What do you think is causing that rift there?
It's been there forever. That's the thing about rift. They just, we don't know what caused the universe. We don't know what caused the rift,
Any strange things there? Giant bunnies or I don't know, ancient Egyptian symbols?
Everyone's just kind of nice.
At this Gale's place. They're very nice.
Yeah, it's weird. Everyone's just pretty kind.
Yeah, I guess so. That is a thing I hear about the Gales who live in Shenandoah County.
About the Antarctic rift, though,
yes.
As we lose landmass up there, what's happening to the rift?
Well, that's I don't know. They just talked about it yesterday. They just disclosed it to the public. So maybe they've been battling this rift for years, and now it's getting out, and it's like, look, the world is shrinking, so it's eventually going to spill out. If the Antarctic shrinks down too much, it could burst. It could blow.
The rift has gone adrift.
And maybe they're telling us now, so when it happens in, say, a month, people go, "Oh, yes, the rift. I was prepared for this."
We're not prepared for the shift in the rift.
Their mistake was thinking we could be prepared for anything.
All right. Perhaps we need to be more thrifty with
All right.
the rift.
I need to hold on. There's a note in the comments that Antarctica is down there, and yes, but just for the sake of the way my wrists work, I pictured it from the top when it burst forth. The gravity would pull it up anyway.
Ooh, yeah. Someone named Carly Cole suggested that Mariah Carey does excellent riffs. I think it's something that we should consider.
Yes. Well, yeah. We should get her to go down. Yes. There you go. Sing it, girl.
New rift.
What
you know?
we need to do is fly Mariah Carey down to the Antarctic and just let her stand there until the rifts merge into one and she creates a cosmic tie holding our universes together.
Cosmic tie. Interesting.
Yes. Mariah Carey being the one tethering point between our galaxies.
Finally, the respect she deserves.
Yes. Perhaps this rift is a grift. Now there's an interesting theory. Now, our friend Cullen on the line here, he's actually calling from the dimension where time is moving backwards. So
everything's great.
So if it's a grift, he's probably an inside man.
No, certainly not.
All right, well, take your word at that.
What motive would I have? What's my end goal for the grift?
I guess to get more people to invest in it. Invest in the rift. And you can invest in the rift by making a donation to the Maryland Ensemble Theater here. The great rift between the real world and art. And art in the real world, they're filling the rift. If you can make a donation there. Just a sponsorship note. Not like they're paying me for this.
One thing that we should consider, too, is perhaps many of the coral reefs that are also out there.
Yes, you've heard about these underwater rifts. And this is a very big concern because as their oil spills, you leak oil into the rifts. It not only destroys our universe, but another one where time moves backwards.
Did you know that
even if
Go ahead.
Even if you were to if the oil seeps into the water and gets into one of the coral reefs, then that oil is going to leak out into a world where it's already cleaned up the oil. The oil's gone back in. There's no mess in that universe except this one coming in through our rift. So we're making theirs worse after the problem's been solved.
Exactly.
So
And
eventually their world will implode in on itself just as ours will in another direction.
And it's not far off. Did you know that 25% of all universes are actually located in coral reefs?
I believe it. And they're all over this planet in increasing numbers. And as they decrease, as the coral reefs decrease, there will be less rifts. And that's the end of those universes. There's no more tether there because the other one has been destroyed. Each meeting its own time as the others go. All different timelines.
James Post asks.
Sounds like I'm talking about anti-time. Perhaps. What was the question?
Post asked, how far away are you in time? Well, that's an interesting question. You don't really get far away. You're just in time. We're all in the same time period right now. Good question, Post.
Cleaning must be fun in this other universe. It would feel like you're making a mess. Yes, that's very true. You just put the mess all over the floor, you sit with it, and it puts itself away over time. The more I talk about this universe, the more I like it than our own. You're watching Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. Cullen, if you don't mind, I think we've got about 10 minutes left. We'll open up the line, see if anyone else is available.
Please.
Thank you for calling.
Good luck out there, Dr. McCallister.
Thank you. How do I get rid of you? There we go. As these new interns running the machines don't quite know where the buttons are. This is Strange Times Indeed. I'm Cliff McCallister. We're talking about a lot of things tonight. We're talking about a many number of things. We've talked about how Republicans only seem to get to meet extraterrestrials, specifically Republican presidents. They get the permission, they get the special treatment. We're talking about how NASA has discovered a parallel universe spewing out of Antarctica, where time moves backwards instead of forwards. And we're just talking about whatever we want, because it's open lines tonight. Now we've got about a little less than 10 more minutes in the program. If you'd like to call in, the lines are open. Cliff, my wife likes your haircut. Well, I'm very popular with wives. I get a lot of calls from women from the Midwest. They call in, they say, Cliff, my husband listens to your show. This is a real caller. Testimonial. Cliff, my husband watches your show. He listens to it every Thursday night. And I really don't care for what you say. I think you're kind of a crank. But when I look over and see the Instagram live on his phone, I see the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And I really, really wish that he were mine. I love secretly watching Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Hugs and kisses, Brenda. That's right. Many people love Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. And we've only been around for, about 10 years. Even though I said earlier, this is our first episode. Now it is open lines tonight. We don't have much time left, but there still is some time to call. If you've experienced any strange things or weird goings on in your life, well then, call in, tell us about it. Tell your friends about it. Well, tell your friends about it after you call in. Say, I was on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, and maybe next week we'll have 20 people watching with us. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Anyone can call in to share their strange experiences. It won't let me call. Well, let me see if I can call you, Ardent Rankle. Let me see. Oh, I've got you. Here we go. We've got another caller coming in. Hello, you're calling Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I'm Cliff McCallister. And who am I speaking to tonight?
Bugsy Clambake.
Bugsy Clambake. Bugsy, what would you like to talk about tonight?
I smelt an alien today.
You smelt an alien? Where did you smell this alien, Bugsy?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Hold on, I gotta get under cover.
Okay.
Lots of people talk about seeing an alien. Lots of people talk about hearing an alien, intercepting it over radio waves. But let me tell you, today I smelt an alien. I'm telling you, this was not of this world, this scent. I was at work. I was crawling around under the desks, unplugging things.
And that's your job, plug things?
Well, that's a little side project of mine.
Alrighty. And so you were unplugging things and you smelled an extraterrestrial?
Something not of this world.
All right.
It
Can you
was.
No. It sounds like Bugsy might be speaking in an extraterrestrial language. Beep bop, you too, Bugsy. Oh, what? Bugsy, I think you're back. You disappeared for a second there?
I'm telling you, I sniffed the rift you were talking about.
Oh,
the rift between this world and all times and another time.
And what did this rift? What did it smell like, Bugsy?
Something came out of that interdimensional rift, right up my nose holes.
Oh my! And so you're saying that the interdimensional rifts that started in the Antarctic, that we heard about just yesterday, have not only spread to coral rifts and are now appearing in human offices?
That's right.
Ooh. No, it sounds like the rifts are quickly growing. I'm not entirely sure if this is very bad or very good, considering the other world sounds a lot more pleasant than ours.
You can access it if you hit your head real hard on the underside of somebody's desk.
Oh, yes.
Preferably on the 3rd floor of your workplace.
Yes, that would. That might very well do that. That might very well help you smell smells. And let me tell you something, too. If you should bump your head on anything and you find that you're getting dizzy, you might want to take some of Frank's herbal medicines. Frank, he's alive, and you, well, you're slowly dying. So give Frank's medicine a try if you're in any pain.
Okay.
So, Bubsy, did you say, so you smelt the rift? Do you think...
I smelt what was coming out of the rift.
And can you tell me what it smelled like?
Well, I hit my head and it was a smell like wondrous things. It was like a combination of all the nearby fast casual restaurants balled up and they'd been marinating for a long time, infused into one smell beyond human comprehension. Except I was given the gift of that moment to accept it.
Incredible. And so you did accept the smell.
I accepted the smell.
Does that give you any sort of window into the other dimension, a window through the rift? Or do you just know the great smellings?
I did see some things, a prophecy.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it was involving house plants.
Well, all right then. That sounds great. Houseplants. It smells like houseplants in the other dimension. Or looks like houseplants.
No, it was involving house plants. They're all part of the plan.
Ah, yes, I could see that. Slowly taking over our own living rooms. Filling the outside into the inside.
That's right.
Well, Bubsy, I'm getting the 2-minute wrapped up. Thank you for calling. Thank you so much for speaking to me tonight. Well, everyone, this has been Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I'm Cliff McCallister. Tonight, troubling news out of the Antarctic, where we've discovered a parallel dimension where time moves backwards instead of forwards. Over the course of this call, it seems like we learned that this rift has spread to coral reefs and even our own office units. This could be very bad. There's also a run of black-eyed squirrels, perhaps coming out of these rifts, as well as black-eyed people hovering outside of 3rd-floor windows, just glaring in at you like some freakish interdimensional being. I don't know about you, but these sound like strange times indeed.